So yeah, really sorry for the disturbance. Please let's continue. So we are left with so many points, but we will be having break after this 5 to 10 minutes. Okay, please stay connected. So hope you can see my screen now. Is it visible now? Okay, fine. Thank you. So yeah. So when you want to connect your device, basically, it's not the device directly supports it. Sometimes when you want your device to be mirrored, you want your mobile device to be mirrored on your laptop, then for that you may need to install some ADB. What is this ADB? This is the Android Debug Bridge. Basically, this is a driver which lets you to have a communication developer level communication of your laptop with your mobile. Okay, so these drivers are available. You can directly download it from the internet, and one such popular driver is USB ADB driver. You can Google it. They are available. You can directly install them. Installing them is quite easy. Okay, so you can install that. With the installation, once you have done with the installation, you can easily connect your device, and you are able to install it some app directly from your laptop to your mobile. This is the advantage of installing these USB drivers. Okay, ADB driver, which is Android Debug Browser. Basically, what you have done is you have created a bridge between number one, operating system Windows, and number two, your Android operating system. So it means you have built a bridge. Now you can directly install an application from your Windows laptop to your Android device. You need not to install it from the Play Store. It means now you are a developer. You can directly test your application from your laptop to your mobile. This is the beauty of installing these Android Debug Bridge drivers. Okay, so numbing with the core Android now. We have so far covered few points which relates number one with the history, number two with the architecture, number three installing with the Android Studio, number four building a Hello World app, number five creating mirror, number six creating basically downloading ADB bridge drivers. So once we have done this, up to this we assume you are done with the installation configuration part. Okay, once you are done with the configuration part, now we are coming into the details of understanding Android. In Android, we say we are going to now learn about the concept of activity lifecycle, what it is. So you have the concept of activity. Let me introduce you again to the concept of activity. Just like we have learned how to configure a website, we have configuration done. Similarly, for mobile application, we have done with the configuration. Now it's a time to build an application. It's a time to build a mobile application. Mobile application means created through activities. So what an activity is, it is representing a single screen. And for every application, if you are going to create an activity, you are creating a Java class. That Java class must extend one activity, that is app compare activity. You need to override some methods, and these methods are on create, on pause, on zoom. Don't worry about this. This is done by IDE automatically nowadays. Don't worry about that. Okay, so this is done automatically by the IDE, Android integrated development environment. Fine, don't worry about that. But what is important is the activity life cycle. Just try to understand what happens basically to an activity. When your mobile application is running, you might have noticed it undergoes various phases. For example, you see sometimes you have WhatsApp on. The moment maybe you click back, okay, then you start with some other application. You click on multi-screen option, then again you see a list of applications which are currently open. You select the one and you resume with the next, and you might be killing some out of the available open applications. The moment you click on, you can say clearing some of the opened applications, once you clear that from the list of open applications, then you can't go back that. For that, you have to restart that app. Basically, if I try to represent the same thing in context to this diagram, so we create an activity, we launch an activity. When I say I launch an activity, it means I have launched an application, I have launched a UI. So the moment you launch your API, your activity, automatically in a sequence, these three operations happen. Application is created, application is started, and application is resumed. And now the application is running. What may happen? 2-3 possibilities are there. Number one, it may be that you pause your activity and again you resume with your activity. It just you can say you fought some time, you pause temporarily, you go back and you come back. Okay, then is you stop the activity and you start the activity. You might be stopping, means you are navigating to the activity, you restart the activity, it may happen. But sometimes you may kill that activity. Once you kill, as I said, once you kill that activity, it gets destroyed. Once you destroy, your activity is destroyed, you are going to recreate that activity. You are going to recreate from the scratch. It means just like a process life cycle, similarly in a mobile application development, we have the concept of activity life cycle. So every activity is going through various phases of its life. This is whereby you are going to program the activities. Okay, so when you are going to build mobile application, so you need to take a help of some IDE, and here we are talking about Android Studio. Now we are coming to the practical part. Okay, so we are going to build the user interface first. The moment we say user interface, it means when you see an app, if you see WhatsApp, what you see is, you have a list of what? List of groups you have joined. Okay, means you see something that this is the name of the sender, this is the name of the group, and the moment you click on that list item, you see again you are bundled with a set of messages. Again, one activity it's to see is a list of the group names, or you can say the simple names from where you are getting the messages. The moment you click on that basically list item, you are up with the, who is this? Please. Ankita Thakur. So please. So when you are going to build a UI, it means you are thinking of building an interface, and interface, definitely designing interface is again one of the challenging jobs. If you find your UI is good, people will go with your application. If your UI is bad, people may not be, you can say, using your app. They may uninstall your app or something like that. That may happen. Again, there are a number of challenges that we can discuss in the, you can say, second level, that what are the different challenges for building a UI, what are the different challenges, how you can make your app good in the Play Store. Okay, so when we talk about layout editor, this layout editor consists of the different components, like we have palettes, we have toolbar, we have design editor, editors, okay, views, zoom panels, etc. Okay, if you see the palette, you have the different controls. As a web developer, you see you are going to design a form, and that form is consisting of the different input types. Similarly here, when you are going to get data from the user, if I am going to create a UI, then what that UI will consist of? It will consist of some text boxes. What kind of text boxes it can be? I'm maybe getting the plain text, I'm getting the password, I'm getting the numeric password, I'm getting an email, phone, etc. So you see, I have a list of options are available. You simply drag and drop this from here into your UI and you are done with that. So here we have a list of such options in the plate available. Android provides us with the number of input types. The advantage or best part of this is that in case of especially web development, you have to put a number of constraints on a particular control. But here, all these constraints are predefined. For example, if you go for email, automatically it will check for all the constraints which can be there on email. I need not to configure any constraints for this. We have different type of buttons. We have different type of widgets available, like we can have image view, video view, web view, etc. I can have different type of layouts available. I can have a different type of containers. So these are all predefined in Android Studio. Just a matter of drag and drop, and you are able to find out. For example, you have some Google widgets which are like add view, map view. We have some legacy controls as well. Means some controls which over the period of time Android Studio has deprecated, like grid layout, list layout. They have come up with the new layout managers. As a mobile application developer, you must remember certain concepts. And that concept is like when we are talking about Android, you might have noticed I need APK file in order to install this. What is APK? So APK is something which is the limit for Android package. Some people say APK stands for Android package. Some people say it is Android package kit. Both abbreviations are correct. Okay, so it means this APK is a bundle which is going to consist of all the classes and the resources which are required for the program to run. Two more concepts, XML and Java. For building an application in Android, you need to know one language that is for building UI, one language for building business logic. XML is for building layout, Java is for building the business logic. When I say building the business logic, it means how you are going to drive your code. You might be using Kotlin for the same. Again, the choice is yours. Some people say how the memory management happens in Android. When I say memory management in Android, we have one file which is read-only file. Again, this is important for you, especially the people who want to go ahead with Android. We have one file named as art.java file. And this art.java file is consisting of pointers basically. If I say pointers in terms of basically, this is going to contain the addresses of all the resources which are available in the Android. Fine. So, for example, if you are having some resource in XML which is named as BTOK, okay, so we're going to bind those resources by help of one popular method, that is find view by ID. Okay, and this r.id.btk says R is a file, ID is an identifier, BTOK means the name given to this identifier. Okay, so we can add listeners so that just like we want to click a button, and on a click of a button, what will happen, that can be programmed here by setting the listeners. Okay, that is another aspect we'll talk about. And then we have the concept of intent. This concept of intent is very important in Android development. For example, sometimes you Google, you say you browse in the Google something, and on browsing, on clicking or search, the options are appearing into the same page. Another one is you are opened up with the Amazon page and you click on pay, and the moment you click on pay, you are redirected to the payment gateway. It means in Android, when you want to switch from one application to another application, you need an intent. Okay, when you want to open an application within the same page, again you need an intent. So in Android, we implement this concept through intent. This is one of the important feature in Android. Okay, all we can do is, for example, the moment you type in your mobile number, for example, I want to call Sandeep sir, I will type SAND and automatically it will depict the options corresponding to SA and D. Sandeep Singh, Sandeep Ranjan, like this. Okay, so it means how it is depicting all this. This is basically, again, it is using the concept of intent. So we have two types of intent. One is implicit intent, another is explicit intent. In case of implicit intent, you simply tell the Android that I want to open up with the apjam.org, or for example, aimetc.apj.edu. You type in the address and it will open up in the same activity. Sorry. Second one is you have one activity, you click on a button and you open up with the second activity. That is another possibility. Similarly, we can create some alert boxes like to warn the user that something happened or so. You may use one option that is named as Alert Builder. That is another API available in Android. You can easily use it with this. And another, to bind up with this session, obviously the theoretical part, obviously in the next part we will go with the practical segment. So we have one feature in Android which is very popular, one layout. This is called web view. What this web view is, for example, you have created a website using PHP, okay, and you want to create an app for the same. All you can do is, the easiest way, the one step solution. If I say, somebody says build an app for a particular website in 5 minutes, the easiest way is go for a predefined feature of Android, that is web view. Web view, it means I will create an entire screen which will behave just like a web. Okay, so I will use this, you can say, control. I will do some programming, definitely. Obviously, I need to do the programming. Okay, so what that programming is, I will create a variable of type web view, and then I will enable some web setting and I will load the URL into this. Okay, the moment I load the URL and view and create a view client, what I will see here, I will show you, like for example, okay, what I have done here is I have tried to create an app for the Moodle, for example. Okay, so the moment I put in my URL here, https://ecourse.asu.edu, okay, when I create this small piece of code, and my app is ready. The moment I install this app and click over here, I see I have created an app which is depicting all the functionality of the Moodle, for example. Okay, so up to this session, this much only. Thanks. Anybody, any question? So definitely we will be moving ahead with the practical session in the next part after a break of, let it be, it's a break of 10 to 15 minutes, depending on whatever is the decision, like, yeah. So that's all from the first session from my side. Okay, it's 12:05 now. We are already done with 1.5 hours. Okay, so the next session definitely we will be looking for the practical implementation of all the things. Okay, so far I have just given an idea what an Android is, what is Android Studio, which is an IDE for building mobile applications. I have given you an idea how we can mirror your mobile phone into the laptop or desktop if you don't have enough RAM. Okay, and then how to build a Hello World app and how to build basically further like a web view. Okay, definitely in the next session we'll be creating all these applications from the scratch with help of Android Studio. Okay, that will be the practical part. So we'll be having a break now for 15 minutes.